I've ordered some PS1 games off eBay. So this is a new type of video that I've wanted to do for a long time now. I've ordered quite a few PS1 games off eBay because I don't have a PS1 collection. Like I have PS2 games, PS3 games, PS4 games and so on, but I don't have any PS1 games anymore, although I had my console when I grew up. You know, back then I used to trade in games in order to get new games because I didn't have any money, and now I felt like starting a new collection. So today we are going to open quite a few packages together in order to see which games I've ordered and if they are in good condition or not. So stay tuned, and as always, welcome to Frame Dropped. The thing that I had to do, because I want to collect PAL games, I just grew up in the EU region, so these are the games that I know. But because I want to collect English games, my only options are really UK or Australia in order to get English PAL games. Also, I rebranded some of the packages because I didn't want to pixelate them, and I didn't want this video to look like a Japanese porno. I mean, I've never seen one, but someone told me. Alright, let's start with the first one. Alright, so this is a common theme that you will see throughout this video, because some of the games that I've ordered aren't games that are like known as the best PS1 games, but some of those are just my childhood, and I've played a lot of Disney games. And by the way, I remember these games to be actually pretty good, so I am looking forward to trying this. But yeah, one of these games is Disney's Tarzan. And Tarzan is a 2.5D platformer action-adventure game. As with most Disney games, it has cinematics from the original movie and the original soundtrack and everything, so this is awesome. It is complete, it has the manual and everything. The most important thing though is the disc, and the disc alright, the disc is pretty, yeah. Right, so next up is SpiderMan and SpiderMan 2. I've played these games to death, and I think SpiderMan 1 is still an awesome game that just bears so much nostalgia for me. Spider-Man 2 and Electro is not as good as I remember it, but it's still pretty okay, and it's still more Spider-Man. And yeah, these games, a lot of costumes that you can unlock, a lot of enemies that you can fight, comic books. Stan Lee is the narrator.
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike. Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee here.
These games are just awesome. The only thing that bothers me is, like, not the disc, but that the actual front label, front cover is missing. The manual is here, but the front cover is missing. Yeah, okay, these games are not the best, but I guess you could clean them a little, and I guess they should work. If you see gameplay footage right now, these games work, because I usually capture everything by myself. Lakeland's Dairies Cream. This is a pretty cool package. Yeah, okay, I remember now. This one is Croc. I didn't play this. This is a basic platformer, 3D platformer as far as I know, and I would have really enjoyed this, I think, back in the day. The case is really okay, and the disc is scratched, but honestly, it's not too bad. Alright, GTA 2. I've tried this game once. It is really hard, really difficult going back to these games because they haven't aged quite well, especially like the top down thing is completely different to what GTA looks like now. But yeah, the map is still here. That's pretty cool. Yeah, and the disc is awesome. This looks good. Alright, Gran Turismo 2. This is one of the first games that I ever owned on the PS1. And yeah, this one, a little piece of plastic here. This one has 2 discs. Yeah, arcade mode and a GT mode. Also, I don't know if you can read that, but please rub the disc label gently with your fingertips or a soft cloth to experience the authentic pit stop smell. Smells like Gran Turismo 2, one of the staples of the PlayStation 1. The graphics back then were insane, as well as how the cars handled, and I guess this game still holds up today. And last one here, Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. I've played this game on the N64 and it actually had the PlayStation buttons sometimes, so I didn't know which buttons to press. That's how quality control was like back then. But I've never managed to complete this game, but I really enjoyed this. Again, as with most Disney games, this is a action platformer, action-adventure platformer, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I remember this game being a lot of fun, and I can't wait to finish this for the first time. Next package. I think I know what this is. Especially PS1 games are pretty fragile, so it's good to see that some people take good care with the packaging, right? Alright. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. As far as I know, this game was developed at the same time as the card game was finalized, so the card game is pretty different here. It is not what you know from basic Yu-Gi-Oh!, but it is a pretty cool game nevertheless. And it looks like someone put this in the washing machine. Yeah, this is one of my childhood games. Okay, apparently the manual is missing. And it's also scratched pretty badly, so nah, not the best. But it's still one of my childhood memories, so that's alright. Right, and this is, I think, this kind of looks like a drug package. Someone told me, I've never seen one. I think this is also just one game, maybe? Alright! So if you didn't think that I had one or two games that are actually pretty good, Metal Gear Solid, the original Metal Gear Solid, some might say this is the best PS1 game of all time. It is definitely one of the best looking games of all time. And I have never played this back in the day. I've played a couple of Metal Gear Solid games since then, but I've never finished this one, so I'm looking forward to playing this on the original PS1 console. And this is actually a cool case because this has a demo disc of Silent Hill, which actually, honestly, this looks awesome. It looks like everything is complete and in very, very good condition. Yeah, and there's, 3 discs. So one demo disc and 2 game discs. This is awesome. Alright, we have more, guys. We have more. What the f***? Alright, so this is probably the stupidest thing that I did. Because this game was pretty expensive. And this game was the one game that I had to order from Australia, and it is not what you might think. Remember when I said that I loved to play Disney games? Do you know what my favorite game as a child was? And honestly, this game is awesome. The Emperor's New Groove. I didn't know that Australia had slim cases as well, by the way, but it's fine, it's alright, I didn't know that. So this game is a platformer, action-adventure, whatever you want to call it. It has a pretty great soundtrack, awesome level design, at least I think it does. Honestly, I love this game. Right guys, the last package. There are a couple of games in here, and before I open it, it doesn't sound too good, but we will see. Alright, this is Gran Turismo 1. The case is cracked, I knew that, because that was on the picture. That is alright. I've never had this one, I only had Gran Turismo 2. And yeah, this is where it all started. It has DualShock support, it says over 290 licensed cars. I mean, that was insane for its time. Alright, Tony Hawk's Skateboarding. The case is a little bit cracked, but apart from that, it's fine. Tony Hawk's is one of my favorite franchises of all time. This was the first one that came out, and this was the first one that I played as well. At a friend's house first. Look at that! The disc is pretty good. And yeah, if you've played the newer Tony Hawk games, if you're used to the newer ones, this one has very dated controls. You can't manual, you can't revert. But apart from that, this game is still pretty awesome. So this is the one Tomb Raider game that I got. Tomb Raider The Last Revelation. Why did I get this one? Her back must hurt. It's just because it's the only one that I had. I had this game back in the day and I couldn't get past the first stage because I was too f***ing scared to do anything. But yeah, I'm not scared anymore.
When you are in midair, press and hold action. You will grab the outcrop.
Alright, so then we have Wipeouts. Alright, so this is actually Wipeout 3. This is the third Wipeout game in the series on the PlayStation 1. The first one, I believe, was actually a launch title for the PlayStation 1, in Europe at least. It's a futuristic racing game that really shows the capabilities of the PlayStation 1, in my opinion. Another Disney game, The Lion King. I remember that I rented this once from my equivalent of Blockbuster or something like that, and I enjoyed it, but I only played it for a weekend or so, so yeah, I remember a little bit, and I remember it being quite difficult, but because it's another Disney game, I'm in. Alright, and the last one of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This is pretty bad shape. But yeah, I've recently played Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on the PS2 on this channel. But this game is different. Like every different version of this game, every different platform is completely different, made by a different developer. And this has the infamous Hagrid meme in it. So I wanted to see that firsthand, and this is why I bought this.
Welcome to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
Alright guys, so this is it, 16 PS1 games in total. I'm quite happy with my purchase. Some games didn't quite have the condition that I hoped they would have, but I was expecting that some of these cases might be cracked and so on, because PS1 cases are quite fragile. This was quite expensive, to be honest. PS1 games are getting quite expensive, so I thought I would start with my collection now, because if I would wait longer, it'll probably cost me even more. So yeah, I bought some of the games that I wanted to buy, and I'm really happy with my purchase. Guys, this was the first of these kinds of videos that I wanted to do. Please tell me if you enjoyed that, if you would like to see more of this in the future. Do you like Disney games as well? Have you played The Emperor's New Groove? And please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed this kind of content. If not, leave a dislike and tell me why, so I can improve my content. It means a lot if you do that, because I'm still a very small YouTuber, and that helps out a ton. Thank you guys, I love you so much, you know that. So until then, see you next time. How much did I pay for this? I need to look at it. I have no idea how much I paid for this.